But they know one single penny stopped everything, because what looked like a simple 1955D wheat Lincoln cent broken bar was later whispered about in collector circles as a coin that shouldn't have survived a broken bar yet somehow did. And in the world of rare coins, when something shouldn't exist a broken bar, that's exactly when it becomes dangerous, because that's how stories of $1 million begin. No one noticed it at first. It passed through hands like dust in the window pocket to counter, counter to register, register to a forgotten drawer. But years later, someone finally looked closer. A broken bar, and what they saw changed everything. A tiny mistake, a hidden anomaly, a detail so small most people would miss it even if it screamed at them. And that's when the first rumor sparked. This penny broken bar might be worth life-changing money, but nobody believed it yet. Not until collectors started digging deeper. Broken bar and what they uncovered sent shockwaves through the coin world, because the 1955D wheat penny isn't just another old cent. It sits at the center of controversy, confusion, and obsession. Some call it misunderstood, others call it overrated, but a small group of collectors, those who've seen one in the right condition, say something very different. They whisper that under the right circumstances a broken bar, this coin has sold for figures approaching $1 million in extreme rarity scenarios, special error conditions, and high-grade anomalies that almost never surface. And that's where the mystery begins to tighten. To understand it, you have to go back to a time when American coin production wasn't as controlled as it is today. The mid-1950s, factories roaring, machines stamping metal at unimaginable speed, coins pouring out by the millions, and in that chaos broken bar mistakes happened, rare, hidden, almost invisible mistakes. And sometimes a broken bar, those mistakes were never supposed to leave the mint at all, but they did. And when they did, a broken bar, they became legends. The 1955D wheat cent carries one of those legends, not because it is famous like other coins, a broken bar, but because of what collectors believe might still be out there, sitting quietly in circulation, waiting, sleeping in jars, lost in old piggy banks, forgotten in drawers no one opens anymore. And here's where the story takes a turn, because one collector didn't believe the hype. He thought it was just another overhyped penny story, a broken bar, until he checked his father's old coin stash, dust-covered, forgotten, almost thrown away. And there it was, a 1955D wheat penny. At first glance a broken bar, nothing special, but under magnification a broken bar, something felt wrong. A subtle doubling effect, a strange weakness in the strike, a detail so faint it could only be seen when light hit it at a precise angle. And in that moment, a broken bar, everything changed, because collectors know one terrifying truth. The most valuable coins never announce themselves, they hide in plain sight. But what happened next stunned even seasoned dealers. A broken bar, the coin was sent for evaluation, and what came back wasn't just a grade. It was a question that split opinions across the entire coin community. The debate spread fast, forums exploded, dealers argued, collectors rushed to check their own jars, and that's when panic set in. But the deeper you go into this coin's story, a broken bar, the more complicated it becomes, because not every 1955D wheat penny is rare. In fact, most are common, mass-produced, worth only a few cents above face value. And that's what makes this so dangerous. The real value isn't in the date alone, it's in the hidden details, and missing those details could mean overlooking something worth life-changing money. But here's the twist that keeps collectors awake at night, a broken bar. Some of the most valuable pennies ever recorded didn't look special at all when first discovered. They looked normal, ordinary, forgettable, until someone noticed something small, a doubling in the lettering, a misalignment in the strike, a subtle shift in the design that shouldn't be there, and suddenly a broken bar, everything changed. Because in the coin world, tiny mistakes are never tiny in value. They are explosions waiting to happen, and the 1955D wheat penny sits right at the center of that possibility. One collector once described it like this: it's like holding a locked door in your hand, a broken bar, and not knowing if the key is inside. And that's where the obsession grows, because if even one perfect example of a rare variant exists, a broken bar, the value could climb into unimaginable territory. Some auction stories hint at extreme condition sales reaching into the high six figures, and in rare speculative discussions among collectors, certain pristine error scenarios are casually linked with figures brushing $1 million. Not confirmed, not guaranteed, but whispered. And whispers in this world. A broken bar tends to become reality faster than anyone expects. But then came the moment that changed everything again. A coin shop in a small town reported something unusual. People were flooding in a broken bar, not with gold bars or rare collections of broken bar, but with old jars of pennies, all asking the same question. And the dealer knew immediately something had shifted in the world of collecting, because when everyday people start searching, history starts moving. But here's where the story tightens again. A broken bar. Most of those coins were not rare, most were ordinary, and that's the cruel truth of treasure hunting. For every $1 million story a broken bar, there are thousands of disappointments. But all it takes is one coin, one mistake, one unnoticed detail, and everything changes. The 1955 wheat penny must be examined with patience. A broken bar, almost like diffusing something delicate. First, the date, then the mint mark, a small d indicating Denver. But that alone means nothing. The real danger or the real opportunity lies in the surface. Look closely at the lettering, especially the word liberty. Then in God we trust. Any unusual doubling, distortion, or shadowing effect could signal something far more significant than face value. And under magnification, a broken bar, that's where the story reveals itself. Don't trust your eyes alone, because lighting can lie, and wishful thinking can be even more deceptive. But imagine this for a moment: a broken bar. Imagine pulling one coin from a jar, one forgotten penny, and realizing it's not just old change, it's a mistake from history, a surviving error, a coin that collectors would fight over, a coin that, under perfect conditions and verified rarity, could be discussed in the same breath as stories approaching $1 million. The kind of discovery that doesn't just change your collection. A broken bar, it changes your life. And yet, right now, a broken bar somewhere out there, a broken bar, it could still be sitting unnoticed, in a drawer, in a jar, in a handful of coins waiting to be spent on something meaningless. But before that happens, there's one final truth every collector must understand. The biggest mistake isn't missing the rare coin, it's not looking at all, because treasures like this don't wait for permission. They don't announce themselves, they hide quietly inside the ordinary world. A broken bar waiting for someone curious enough to notice. So if you ever come across a 1955 wheat penny, don't rush it away, don't assume it's nothing, because history has a strange habit of disguising miracles as pocket change. And sometimes a broken bar, just sometimes a broken bar, one overlooked cent, becomes the kind of discovery people talk about for decades. A coin that turns disbelief into obsession, and speculation into stories of $1 million value that echo through the collecting world. A single coin catches the light, a 1957 penny. No reaction, no excitement, just another copper coin. A broken bar, or so it seems. And that's when everything changes, because right now, somewhere in America, this exact coin could be hiding in pocket change. A broken bar waiting for someone who knows what everyone else missed. But the truth behind it is far more mysterious than anyone expected. A broken bar. Back in 1957, the Denver Mint was operating at full speed, producing millions upon millions of Lincoln wheat pennies. They were ordinary coins meant for everyday commerce: bread, gas, a newspaper on the corner stand. A broken bar, that was their destiny, or so the world believed. But hidden within that massive production run, a broken bar, something strange is said to have happened. A subtle deviation, a quiet mistake, the kind of error so small, most people would never notice it even if it sat in their hand for hours. Yet in the world of coin collecting, those tiny imperfections, a broken bar, are where legends are born. Collectors began noticing that certain 1957 wheat pennies carried unusual characteristics: slight doubling, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks that looked almost invisible unless light hit them at the perfect angle. At first, nobody cared, but then came the stories. One collector in the Midwest reportedly pulled a strange-looking 1957 penny from a bankroll in the 1970s. It looked normal, a broken bar, until under magnification, the mint mark revealed something unusual, not clean, not simple, almost like it had been stamped twice. In a moment of mechanical hesitation, He sold it for what seemed like a ridiculous price at the time, several $100s. Back then, people laughed, but that coin, a broken bar, disappeared into a private collection, and decades later, whispers began to circulate that similar examples were appearing in high-end auctions, a broken bar but under tightly guarded listings. Then came the moment that shook collectors. A 1957D Lincoln wheat penny, in extraordinary condition, reportedly surfaced at a specialized numismatic auction. The bidding started quietly, a broken bar almost cautiously, then it escalated fast. Collectors were stunned as the price climbed into territory nobody expected for a 1-cent coin. Thousands became tens of thousands. Then rumors spread of a private post-auction deal pushing the value into the 7-figure range. $1 million, a broken bar for a penny. But not just any penny. A rare combination of minting anomalies, preserved surfaces, and an almost supernatural level of detail under magnification. And that's when the obsession began. This is where the story takes a turn no one saw coming, because the 1957D isn't valuable just for age. It's not rare because it's old. It's rare because of what might have gone wrong during production. Experts have long debated whether certain batches experienced subtle dye deterioration or repunching errors that were never officially documented, meaning these coins slipped into circulation completely unnoticed. And that means they could still be out there, right now, in jars, in drawers, in forgotten collections inherited from grandparents who never knew what they were holding. But here's where it gets even more intense. A broken bar. Most people looking at a 1957 penny will miss the critical details entirely. They'll see copper, they'll see wear, they'll assume it's worth 1 cent, and they'll move on. But seasoned collectors know better, because under magnification, the real secrets begin to reveal themselves. A double D mint mark that looks slightly shadowed or misaligned. A wheat ear that shows unusual strike weakness inconsistent with normal circulation wear. Or a surface that appears ordinary at first glance. See a broken bar but under angled lighting reveals ghost-like doubling in the lettering of Liberty or In God We Trust. These are the details that separate pocket change a broken bar from something that could, in rare circumstances, reach staggering auction figures. Because as more collectors began searching, something unexpected emerged. Not just one rare example, but multiple suspiciously high-grade specimens appearing across different estates and old bank rolls. Some were dismissed as hype, others were quietly purchased and locked away by private collectors unwilling to discuss them further. And that silence a broken bar only made the mystery deeper. Unless there was something more going on beneath the surface, something not fully understood, something still being studied today. And that's when the legend of the 1957D wheat penny began to grow beyond just terror collecting. It became a treasure hunt, a race against time, a belief that ordinary people could still stumble upon extraordinary wealth in the most unexpected places. But here's the most important question. A broken bar. First, you need a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse side. That alone is not rare, but it is the starting point. Next, examine the mint mark under magnification. Look for signs of repunching, doubling, or irregular spacing. A clean, perfectly centered D is common. But anything that appears slightly shadowed, thickened, or uneven broken bar deserves attention. Then look at the lettering on Liberty and In God We Trust. Doubling in these areas, even subtle, can indicate a valuable minting anomaly. Finally, check the condition. Coins approaching uncirculated or high mint state grades are where the most dramatic valuations begin to appear. But be careful a broken bar, because thousands of altered or damaged coins are often mistaken for rare errors. Post-mint damage, cleaning marks, or environmental wear can mimic rarity at first glance. See a broken bar but destroy value completely. This is why experts urge caution. One wrong assumption can turn a potential fortune into just another penny. But imagine, just for a moment, a broken bar. You open an old box, you hear the faint clink of metal, you sift through ordinary change, expecting nothing, and then you see it, a 1957D penny. You tilt it toward a light, something looks a broken bar different, your pulse quickens, because suddenly, you realize this might not be ordinary at all. This might be one of those coins, the kind collectors whisper about, the kind that has sparked rumors of $1 million auctions. the kind that could change everything in a single moment. And as you hold it between your fingers, one thought begins to take over everything else. See a broken bar. What if this is the one everyone else missed? Because somewhere out there, this exact penny could still be hiding in plain sight, a broken bar waiting for the right eyes to uncover it. But what if I told you a broken bar that exact moment has been linked, in collector circles, to stories of coins rumored to reach nearly $1 million a broken bar, and in rare, almost mythical discussions, even higher. And among those whispers, a broken bar, one name keeps resurfacing again and again: the 1958 no-mint Mark wheat Lincoln penny. A coin so common at first glance, see a broken bar, that millions of people have held it without a second thought, yet so mysterious in certain rare conditions, a broken bar that collectors still debate its hidden potential today. And what makes this even more unsettling, a broken bar, is that most people don't even know what they're actually looking at. Because in 1958, a broken bar, something important happened in American coin history. The wheat penny era was ending. The Philadelphia Mint struck its final wheat cents that year before the design changed forever. Billions were made, pocket change, lunch money, forgotten currency passing from hand to hand like it meant nothing. But hidden amongst a broken bar are the coins that survived differently. And that's where the story turns. Because every so often a broken bar, a coin surfaces that doesn't behave like the others. Sharper details, unusual strike quality, off-center features that don't match normal production patterns, tiny variations so small a broken bar they disappear unless you know exactly where to look. Collectors describe it like thieves a broken bar. It doesn't feel like a normal penny broken bar, it feels like a mistake the system forgot to erase. And that's where the legend begins. Because over the years, stories started circulating among collectors about extraordinary 1958 wheat pennies, especially those without a mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, that showed rare anomalies. Some claimed double die characteristics, others whispered about experimental strikes, misaligned dies, or leftover plan case from earlier production years. Most of these claims remain unverified, but the fascination never died. And here's where things get even more intense. A broken bar. One auction story shook the collecting world when a 1958 wheat cent in exceptional condition, with unusual strike characteristics, reportedly climbed into the thousands of broken bar, then tens of thousands of broken bar, and in exaggerated collector forums, stories stretched far beyond that. That's where the phrase started appearing online, a broken bar. At first, experts laughed it off, but then came the twist no one expected. Because rare coin markets don't always follow logic, they follow obsession, demand, mystery, and the emotional pull of what if I missed something sitting in my own change? And that question, a broken bar, spreads faster than facts. Stay with this, because it gets stranger. The 1958 no-mint Mark wheat penny was produced in massive numbers. But production quality wasn't always perfect. Dies wore down, adjustments were made under pressure, and in those chaotic final years of wheat cent production, small anomalies slipped through. Most were meaningless, but some, a broken bar, weren't. Doubling on the date or lettering, unusual sharpness in Lincoln's profile, off-metal strikes or planchet irregularities, and most importantly, a broken bar condition so pristine it feels untouched by time itself. Because here's the truth that experienced collectors understand: a broken bar, it's never just the date that creates value, it's the story the coin carries in its metal, and sometimes, that story is written in flaws no one noticed for decades. Now imagine these: a broken bar, a coin sitting in an old coffee can, forgotten for years, passed down through generations, never cleaned, never examined properly, and then one day, broken bar, someone notices something off. The letters look slightly doubled. The surface has a strange mirror-like shine under light. The strike feels unusually deep for the year. It doesn't look normal. It feels a broken bar different. And that's where the danger begins. Because most people would still spend it. A penny is a penny, a broken bar, until it isn't. But what happens next in stories like these is what keeps collectors awake at night. Because once a coin like this enters expert hands, a broken bar, everything changes. Authentication, grading, microscopic inspection, historical comparison, and sometimes a broken bar, the reaction is silence. Because even experts can hesitate when something rare appears out of nowhere. There are reports again, not always verified that certain exceptional wheat pennies have triggered bidding wars among private collectors, where numbers climb faster than anyone expects. Thousands of broken bar, then tens of thousands of broken bar, and in the most exaggerated claims circulating online, people whisper about values approaching $1 million. Even the phrase itself carries weight. $1 million. It's not just money, it's disbelief wrapped in numbers. But before excitement takes over completely, there's something you need to understand. Not every 1958 wheat penny is valuable. In fact, most are worth only a few cents above face value. The real danger, the real opportunity lies in misidentification, because many people confuse wear, damage, or environmental toning with rarity, and that mistake has cost collectors fortune as a broken bar or convinced others they've found treasure when they haven't. But the coins that truly model a broken bar, they stand apart in subtle, almost invisible ways. First, a broken bar, check the date carefully. 1958, wheat reverse design still present, no mint mark beneath the date, indicating Philadelphia production. Then examine the lettering under magnification. Look for doubling, especially on Liberty and In God We Trust. True double die characteristics don't look like scratches or wear, they look like a shadow of the lettering, slightly offset, frozen into the metal itself. Next to broken bar, study the surfaces. A genuine high-value strike will often show exceptional detail preservation, as sharp wheat stalks on the reverse, clean Lincoln features, and minimal circulation wear despite age. And here's the most critical moment: a broken bar, the coin's overall eye appeal, because in rare coin markets, emotional reaction matters more than logic. Dealers don't just see metal, they see possibility. But there's one final warning: many altered coins exist, artificial doubling, polished surfaces, misleading damage that imitates rarity, and that's where collectors lose everything: a broken bar by chasing what only looks valuable. But if you ever hold a 1958 wheat penny that feels a broken bar wrong in the best possible way, a broken bar, do not dismiss it, because that hesitation, a broken bar, that strange instinct that something is different, a broken bar, that's where every major discovery begins. And somewhere in the United States right now, a broken bar in drawers, jars, old boxes of broken bar coins like this may still be waiting, silent, ordinary, unseen, until the right eyes finally recognize them, because history has proven something shocking again and again: a broken bar, life-changing coins don't announce themselves, they hide in plain sight, and when they surface, the world reacts too late. Collectors rush in, auctions ignite, stories spread, and the price of a broken bar can climb beyond imagination depending on rarity, condition, and demand. That's how legends are born, not from minting alone a broken bar, but from discovery. So the next time you hear a penny drop into your hand, a broken bar, don't dismiss it too quickly. Look closer, because this isn't just currency, it's possibility disguised as copper. And somewhere within that ordinary pile of change, a broken bar, there could be a 1958 wheat penny waiting quietly, a broken bar holding a secret the world hasn't fully uncovered yet. A secret that, in the right condition and under the right circumstances, has been whispered to reach values that sound unreal: a broken bar, even life-changing, a broken bar, even into the realm of $1 million discussions among collectors. Most people never look twice, they never check, they never know, and that's why the story continues, because right now a broken bar, some weary broken bar, someone is holding a coin without realizing its history is still unfinished.